Now, Nigeria's political scene is gradually heating up ahead of the 2027 general elections as opposition forces begin early maneuvering to challenge the ruling All Progressives Congress. The Nigeria Democratic Congress, the NDC, is emerging as part of this shifting landscape, attracting attention as discussions intensify around potential alliances, defections, and a possible united opposition front. Political actors, including key figures like Peter Obi, are being linked to broader coalition talks aimed at consolidating support and avoiding a fragmented opposition vote in 2027. Meanwhile, analysts say the next election cycle could be defined by coalition politics, internal party restructuring, and efforts to present a strong alternative to the APC's incumbency advantage.
Now, Nigeria's political landscape is gradually shaping up ahead of the 2027 general elections, with fresh alignments emerging within the opposition space. Activist Aisha Yusufu has formally stepped into the partisan politics after joining the Nigeria Democratic Congress, NDC, where she has declared her intention to contest the Federal Capital Territory senatorial seat in 2027. Aisha Yusufu, who rose to national prominence through the Bring Back Our Girls and NSAS movement, says a move is aimed at taking activism into formal governance and legislative representation. She joins us live on Daybreak this morning. Thank you very much, Aisha Yusufu, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've been a collector's item in Nigeria's human rights activism, being an unrelenting voice, speaking truth to power consistently. Now, bringing activism to governance now with the ambition to clinch the Senate FCT seats. How do you intend to merge this together? Because most likely you're going to face some opposition because you look at what if you win, what your predecessor faced in challenging the Minister of FCT in some policy controversies. How do you intend to muster that gusto in maintaining your stance when it comes to policy matters within the FCT?
Thank you so much for having me. I think for me, the first thing is the fact that understanding that I have used my constitutional right over the years, over a decade, to make demands. And right now I'm seeking for constitutional authority to then be able to not just make demands, but be able to be part of the solution towards, the problems that we face in our own country. Having said that, is that for me, first of all, we have not done our primaries. I'm not the flag bearer of our party yet. I hope to be, and I look forward to members of the party supporting me when we go to primaries for me to get that ticket. But I think the most important thing about governance or being in office, or for me being a senator of the FCT, is not picking a fight with anyone. I don't have a business with picking a fight with anyone. My business is for me to represent my people and be their voices and ensure that every problem that they have is brought to the front burner, and not just put in the front burner, but it's also solved. But in a way that I'm not a walkover. For me, that's not something that I am. I wish someone would think that they're going to, sort of bully me in a particular way. But at the end of the day, my business is not to go and be fighting, Minister of FCT. Mm-hmm. And by the grace of God, the Minister of FCT, if I get the ticket, we go on in 2027, is going to be so we're going to be in the same party, because the ruling party then would then be the Nigeria Democratic Congress. That's what we are looking forward to. That's all, by the grace of God, we are going to get. So there's no need to come in and fight it. But whatever the case is, I don't think people who are supposed to represent people, the issue is about fighting. The issue is about tabling the problems of the people and ensuring that each and every one of them is solved.
Now, you've always been, a top voice in speaking out how you feel and fighting for your people, as you have just rightly said. And one of the biggest stories that has been making the rounds, the one that has been on the front of all the papers today, is basically on the APC presidential primaries that held yesterday. What was your reaction when you saw the numbers of over 10 million?
Skit making. For me, it was just a joke. That was just like basically when you find out that and that's when people who do skit making, and that's what it's being done there. Because the numbers that were bandied out, just doesn't make sense. But hey, to each their own. For me, for now, my business is not even focused on the APC. My business is on my own party, the Nigerian Democratic Congress. For us to have our primaries done, then that's when we now begin to look around and say who the opponents are. But you know, when they say about someone, when you see defeat in the face of defeat and those last minute dance that people make, basically I think that's what I see the APC doing. And they're trying to bolster, maybe feel a confidence that it's not there. But I can assure you, and a lot of Nigerians do know that the APC has been rejected. People are not interested. They don't even want to see them. And so numbers can come out from anywhere. And by the way, you've seen the counting. When you start from 1, 2, 3, 400, 200, 201, 205, 1,000, 10,000, say, hey, they know how they have their figures. For me, I'm not bothered about that.
Okay, your incursion from activism to politics has brought you under some serious views, crossing from Labour Party to the ADC and now to the NDC. You've said that you have deep convictions about the principles of your godfather, Mr. Peter Obi. Have you any conviction of your own?
So I don't have a godfather. It's not a godfather. It's my principal.
Someone that I work with. Along with him, regardless of whatever decision he makes.
Yeah, so I'll get to that. First of all, I was never in Labour Party, and I think I've said this repeatedly. I don't know whether I need to put it on my forehead. I was never a member of them. I was a supporter of Mr. Peter Obi. ADC, I was a member of the African Democratic Congress, and from there I moved down to the Nigerian Democratic Congress. For me, Alex said this, I gave my words to Peter Obi, and I see him right now as that person who has the empathy, who is patriotic, and who cares enough about Nigeria for him to work for Nigeria. And I'm going to do that because I'm selfish in a way. I want someone that gets into office, and I don't need to keep making demands. You understand? And when you're talking about politics, earlier you said I'm leaving, sort of like leaving advocacy or activism into politics. I'm not. I'm taking advocacy and activism into politics because for me as a lawmaker, if I get voted in by the grace of God, my number one business is holding the executive accountable. You can't come as a president. Mr. Peter Obi, being the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, cannot just come to the Senate with frivolous, application for loans. And now Aisha Yusufu, representing FCT by the grace of God, we just, give it to him.
Are you an obedient supporter because of your ambition?
I'm a Peter Obi supporter. And it's not because of my ambition, because of the person that he is. If it was because of my ambition, I would have run in 2023. In 2023, I was calling a lot of people to run. A lot of people wanted me to run. I said, no, my business is to focus, on getting someone that I feel is going to do everything to give Nigeria good governance, accountability, and transparency for him to be there. Then I can realize, because I tell you something, I kid you not, I'm a baby girl. You understand? This morning, I was coming out and I said to my husband, is it this your wife that you don't play with? See the way they are just tossing her? He said, Abi, I just wanted to, so let me take care of you. I'm someone who is babied. I literally do nothing, you understand, other than eat. That's the only thing I know. If I even ask, please feed me, I'll get fed.
But when it comes to activism, we don't see that baby side of it.
Exactly, yes. For me, I tell people I'm gentle until government looks for my trouble, and then you see ferocious, we come out. Why am I saying this? Because I didn't want to even run. I didn't want to serve for a very long time. It's been, ongoing because I feel, let me just be here. Sometimes I love to travel out of the country. I probably spend 3 months, 4 months. If you're in office, you can't do any of those things. But it got to a place where I felt a bit hypocritical, in the sense that I keep asking people to run, but I never do the running. And for the first time in a long time, I said, okay, I'm ready to serve. Because leadership is about service. You understand? Let me give you an example. The way I talk and own my voice, I can't do that if by the time, I'm a public servant. Even right now, being a member of a political party has sort of like constrained me a bit. And I'll give you an example. When the Tinubu's anthem came out, I refused to stand for it. I only started standing when I joined the party, because now I joined the party, I have to follow the rules and regulation of the party. So it's those limiting things that I never wanted to happen. I got to a place where, look, I can't keep asking people to do it. I'm ready to serve. And if the people of Abuja want me to serve, then I will go there and serve them diligently. One thing that I am not, I am never someone who follows someone, anyhow. No, if Mr. Peter Obi does something that it's not, I always stand. He knows I'll hold him accountable. So it's not about following someone or having a godfather or whatever. I'm a supporter as long as he aligns with what works for a better Nigeria and giving us good governance, accountability, and transparency.
All right. Now, a big part of being in politics is also having a good strategy. Now, today we have the ADC that are holding their primaries, and a lot of people are looking forward to that, especially since we were talking about what happened yesterday, over the weekend, and the weeks that have passed. Now, with this in light, is there anything that you're watching closely for? Any lessons, anything to take away that you can apply to yourself and to the NDC as a whole?
Yeah, so for me, one of the biggest things I'm taking away is the kind of primaries that have happened. We've seen accusation and counter-accusation of thuggery and all of that. And for me, the lesson, like they say, experience is the best teacher, but nobody ever says that you have to experience it to learn from it. You can do OPE, other people's experience. So having a primaries that is free, fair, credible, and one that is sane, and one that people who know how to count. We were taught 1, 2, 3, up to 1,100 and all of that while we're in school. People who actually know how to count are the ones who come out and do the counting. And let's give Nigeria something, a breath of fresh air where they see accountability, sanity, being displayed. That's one of the things for me that I want to. In terms of strategy also, that's why for me, my focus, as much as I've seen what is happening, it's not to focus too much on who are the candidates. For my own sake, it's to focus on how do I emerge as a flag bearer of my own party? Because there are other contestants. I see a lot of people just assume that, oh, Aisha Yusufu, you've automatically gotten the ticket. No, that's not the case. There are other contestants, and I'm going to be there. I'm like telling people, please come out to vote during our primaries, our members, and stand there. And if you want me to be the person who becomes a flag bearer, stand behind that. But I'm very, I have confidence in the fact that the Nigerian Democratic Congress, in the leadership and the way they have handled their affairs, wanted to make that difference, be that difference, and give Nigerians a reason to smile again.
Okay, quite poignantly, your years in activism is something that you can't undo, whether you like it or not. We've seen how you fought for the safe return of the Chibok schoolgirls. And now, up till now, that's a decade, almost 12 years after now. We're still facing existential threats with schools in Papiri coming under siege, with abductions still going on. And recently, we've seen the Oyo State abduction. How do you feel that something you fought, being in the front line against this menace, is still recurring? What do you feel about the approach of governance to abduction and banditry in the country?
I think my heart was broken on April 14, 2014. And it really, it hasn't changed. And the most heartbreaking part of it all is seeing how Nigerians could not unite over the fact that 276 schoolgirls were taken away. We turned it into, people made it political. No, where are they from? Where are they not from? It's about the president and not the president. Nobody bothered about the fact that children that we had sent to school that were under the care of government had been taken away. And by doing that, what we ended up doing as citizens was that we gave the government enabling environment for them not to abdicate their responsibility and give the terrorists, to embolden them and continue to do what they're doing. And that's where we are today. By 2018, we at the Bring Back Our Girls movement, and even myself personally, realized that if we just keep on making demands and don't focus on good governance, accountability, and transparency, that these cases will continue to go on. And that's why we constantly have, over time, tried to get in people who we take, security as very important, because the primary responsibility of any government is the protection of lives and properties. And any government that does not protect the lives and properties of its citizens, it's not fit to be called a government. And this is where we are today. And if we do nothing about it, it's going to continue. I see people, how outraged people were, unfortunately, at one of the teachers that was killed and was decapitated. And the same thing had happened to Seifura in 2018. The terrorists had given 30-day warning to the government. then Buhari-led government, and they did nothing. And she was actually killed. And Nigerians moved on. You know, the fact that we have lost our empathy as a people, we do not want to take on the pain of others. We wait until it happens to us before we are outraged. It's part of the problem that we're facing now. And there's something I always say: yesterday's victims were once survivors. Today's victims were yesterday's survivors. And tomorrow's victims would be today's survivors. Who is next?
Now, to speak in line with what you're saying on issues of terrorism and the security situation that is dwindled to absolutely nothing in the country, we had a report today that said that troops of Operation Hadin Kai had rescued 92 kidnapped civilians in Borno State. I believe this happened yesterday or the day before. What do you have to say to this? Does this kind of show that security is working in some forces but not in others? Because this is not an isolated incident. We've had a few situations where we've had some troops rescue some civilians. So what is your response to all of this?
So for me, my response is well done to the troop rescuing this whole stage's kidnapped victims. The first question is, where is the accountability? For the first time, do we have this rescued? Who are they? Are they really rescued? Because we've seen the Nigerian army has recanted so many statements that you get to a place, unfortunately, which is not supposed to be, you begin to distrust them. Do we really have, or is it that just to put something out and pacify the public? I remember in February 2015, when the military had said they had rescued, some people, and we were asking, there were certain people that were rescued, that were abducted in December 2014, and when we were asking, are they part? What about them? They said they were part of it. But with the Bring Back Our Girls movement, with the Chibok girls, because we had their names, we could also check. But they would also say, these people are in there. And then you are not sure of it. But one of the things that we've asked for, even as a movement, was that there should be a missing person register. Since 2015, we've been demanding for this. It hasn't gotten anywhere. So that every Nigerian that is abducted, there should be a register. And if that person is rescued, we should know who it is that was rescued. Now you have numbers, 92 were rescued. Who are they? When were they abducted? And how many more do we have out there? How many more are they looking for? All we want in Nigeria is for people to be safe. But of course, you have seen, a situation we have today where Mr. Tinubu doesn't care, doesn't speak on this issue, moves on, nobody bothers. The life of a Nigerian citizen it looks as if it's not worth anything anymore in Nigeria.
Okay, let's look at the political landscape now. A lot of people have said that the best way, the most feasible way to oust the incumbents at the national level, that's talking about President Bola Tinubu, is a strong political coalition of opposition. The breaking away from your group, that's the Peter Obi group, to the NDC, so some people signals a kind of political setback in this mission, because people have argued that it's only a coalition of political opposition that could do this formidable competition against the incumbents. How do you feel with being fractured into the NDC?
Well, so for me, what I look at, there was an Ibadan summit that had happened where it was said that opposition, will put forth one candidate. And as we go on, that's still a possibility. It was never said that a particular party is going to field a candidate. And I think what has happened, in a way, it's a good thing. In a way, let everybody be out there. Now, let them all work out and get their, presidential ticket. When they do that, they can always come to the round table. I totally agree with the fact that, working together in synergy, it's an easier way to be able to defeat whoever it is that is sitting on the office. But that is not the only way, and you can always get to the end point.
Thank you very much. We wish you could go on and on. It's very, very important, crucial conversation indeed. Thank you very much, Aisha.
Thank you for having
Yusufu,
me.
the former co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls movement, an activist, and now she is the NDC FCT senatorial aspirant in the NDC. Thank you very much for joining us. And that's all we have time for here on Daybreak. I'm Benga Ashiru saying, do have a most pleasant day.
And I'm Yolanda Robert. Thanks for watching Daybreak. Have a fantastic day ahead. Goodbye.